Hello, my name is Cassian Nuñez. I'm a financial planner, real estate investor, and mortgage loan originator. And today I'm going to be explaining what the onboarding process looks like for new RINOs. Okay, so the client onboarding experience. Once you have decided to start your journey toward financial independence, you will be invited to join me in a 30-minute consultation. In that consultation, we are going to discuss your SMART financial goals. That's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So what does that look like as an example? I want to purchase a first home in 2 years for $250,000. I need at least 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a 2-car garage. And I want to make sure that it's 30 minutes from work, right? It's specific, it's measurable. Depending on how much money you make, it's achievable and realistic. And then the fact that you assigned a time frame of 2 years, it's time bound. So that's just one example of a SMART financial goal that we're going to help establish. There are a whole host of them. I want to travel 2 or 3 times a year internationally. I want to spend more time in my church. Whatever the SMART financial goal is, we're going to quantify it. We're going to make sure that it's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. The second thing that we're going to talk about in the 30-minute client consultation is your biggest pain point. If you are struggling with the thought of retiring at 67, then you definitely want to figure out how far you are from achieving financial independence now, and then get yourself on the correct road in order to achieve that as quickly as possible, right? If you're finding yourself a little anxious and uneasy about what your financial future looks like, and you have to constantly trade your time for money, and that brings stress to your life because you just don't see an end to that kind of a lifestyle, then I would encourage you to book this free 30-minute consultation, and we can explain to you how long it's going to take for you to actually achieve financial independence, which is to say no longer have to trade your time for money. And so that usually tends to be one of the biggest pain points. Another pain point for some folks might be leaving a legacy. They've heard a lot about trusts. They've heard a lot about whole life insurance policies and all these different instruments and vehicles to establish a legacy, because they're not just worried about themselves, but they're looking at posterity. And so if that's a pain point for you, I would highly encourage you to book a 30-minute consultation, and we can discuss what that looks like and how long it would take to achieve the remedy to that pain point. The next thing we're going to discuss in the 30-minute consultation is any previous experience you have with an advisor, planner, or any kind of financial professional. I think it's very important as a planner to know what experience that you have already with working with someone in this field, because it helps with expectation management. If you were working with someone else and they were really, really big on insurance and they didn't really talk a lot about investment and retirement, then I need to know that, right? I need to know where some of these questions are coming from, what that prior experience looks like, in order to make sure that I'm managing expectations for the both of us. Another reason is if you've never worked with a financial planner, advisor, or some sort of financial professional, then it's very helpful for the both of us to know that, so that as I'm explaining things, I don't quickly cover it, making the assumption that this has already been covered because you've worked with a planner on X, Y, and Z before. And so those are some of the reasons why it's important to know your prior experience with a financial advisor, planner, or some sort of a professional. The next thing that we're going to cover in the 30-minute consultation is a service explanation. So this is what we do as a registered investment advisory, as a wealth management firm, right? We provide estate, tax, retirement, investment, and insurance planning. We do that in a very specific way. We are big on increasing the financial literacy and IQ of everyone that we meet. And so we highly encourage people as they become RINOs to take advantage of the courses that we offer, to take advantage of the wealth guides and the checklists and the webinars and the library of content that we have. And so that you're constantly increasing that financial literacy and IQ, that allows you to ask even better questions, which allows me to provide a higher level of service. And so explaining what that looks like is what we will cover in the 30-minute consultation as well. And then the last part, if you decide that you want to know more, you're excited, you're ready to go, we're going to ask for some data, right? Data collection time. We're going to ask for your prior year W-2s. We're going to ask for all of your financial statements, mortgages, student loans, auto loans, credit cards, all of the different things that have a dollar amount associated with it. We're going to send you an email with a link explaining all the different documents that we need, and then you can throw it into that secure Dropbox, and then we're going to use that information to create a balance sheet, an accurate depiction of where you stand today. At the end of that 30-minute consultation, we are going to book the first meeting. And in that first meeting, we are going to explain your current situation. So this is your net worth. This is your cash flow, right? And these are our recommendations in order to get you to your stated SMART financial goals. So that's the first thing that we're going to cover in the first meeting. You're going to know exactly where you stand financially. The next thing we're going to cover is product recommendations. Green, gold, and platinum. Based on where you are currently, you might be in a place where you need your financial literacy and IQ increased. And so we're going to recommend that you go into the green package, where it focuses on getting you to a place where you can start to take advantage of the money that you have based on the knowledge that you need. If you find yourself in another place where you do have enough financial literacy and you have enough finances in order to take advantage of some of the investment opportunities that we recommend, then you will move into the gold package. And there we're going to be actioning a lot of the things together that we make recommendations on. So purchasing property, increasing contributions to our employer sponsor plans, making sure that we have all the different insurances that we need, life, health, disability, valuable personal property, umbrella, etc. We're going to make sure that you have a will, if the situation necessitates a trust, and everyone should have a advanced healthcare directive. We're going to be looking at taxes, right? And we're going to be making sure that you're taking advantage of all the deductions and the credits. And as we make recommendations for future action, you can further decrease your adjusted gross income. And so those are the things that we do in the gold package. It's very full service. It's extremely comprehensive. And then if you find yourself in a situation where you have increased the amount of money that you have to invest, you would advance to the platinum package, where you can purchase significantly more rental properties. And so those are the three product recommendations that we could make, and we will make it based on where you are currently. If all that sounds good, then we're going to send you an engagement letter to sign. In that engagement letter, it explains our expectations of you. It explains what your expectations of us should be. It explains the cost to provide the service to you. It provides a bunch of different rules and regulations. As a licensed registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia, we are held to a much higher ethical standard. And so all of that is encompassed in the engagement letter. It's very, very long, very comprehensive. We encourage everyone to read it. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us and we will provide you with a response in a timely manner. And then once all those questions are asked and answered, you will sign that, and then we will officially start the journey toward financial independence. You will become a RINO on that day, and we will be moving forward full steam ahead. At the end of that meeting, we will set the second meeting, which is our quarterly meeting. We break out how many times we meet with you annually into quarters. So every year we will meet with you 4 times at least, and we will be discussing these things in the quarterly meetings. In Q1, if you find yourself becoming a RINO in Q1, we're going to be discussing insurance. So that's life, health, umbrella, disability, valuable personal property, pet, depending. all the different insurances. We're going to make sure that you have all the adequate amounts of insurance and types of insurance necessary based on where you are today. If you come to us as a prospective RINO in Q2, then you would roll into estate planning. And so we're going to be looking to make sure that you have a will, a trust if appropriate, and an advanced healthcare directive in that meeting. If you come to us in Q3, you're going to roll right into tax planning. So we're going to be looking at what you've been doing this year in preparation for filing next year. So we're going to be asking for W-2s for the prior year, your prior year 1040, making sure that everything is accounted for, asking you some questions for things that may have changed from the prior year to this current year, again, in preparation for filing in the next year. And then in Q4, if you come to us, then we are going to be discussing investment and retirement planning. So what does your employer-sponsored plan look like? What does your individual retirement account, if you have one, look like? What are the contribution amounts? What are the balances? Do you have a taxable brokerage account? If so, what are you investing in? Are you already a real estate investor? What does your real estate portfolio look like? Do you manage yourself? Do you have property managers? Are there any other investment vehicles that you're engaged in? Maybe you're a venture capitalist and you own 10% of a startup over here and 30% of a startup over there. Whatever it looks like, we're going to be discussing that in Q4. And then retirement. And I heard recently on a podcast that I was listening to, a planner change the word retirement to restylement, because we're really just talking about what the next phase of life looks like. It doesn't actually have to be retirement. You could be restyling your life to no longer trade your time for money because you've achieved financial independence or you're close to achieving it. And you need to know what that next stage looks like financially. And so we can be discussing those things in Q4 if you come to us in that quarter. But regardless of where you come to us in the calendar year, we will eventually, as a consequence of our recurring working relationship, hit every single pillar within the financial planning space. And so this has been an explanation of the client onboarding experience. If you have any questions, please reach out to us by emailing us at contact@rhinoinvest.co, and we will respond as quickly as possible. Thank you again. My name is Cassian Nuñez, and I'm here to remind you that it is always a good time to invest in real education, invest in performing assets, get rid of bad debt, and provide oversight of those assets.
The RINO Invest and Cash In with Cassian YouTube channels are hosted by Cassian Nuñez. Cassian Nuñez is a financial planner with RINO Invest Wealth Management. RINO Invest Wealth Management is a registered investment advisory firm regulated by the Securities Division of the state of Georgia in accordance and compliance with the securities laws and regulations. RINO Invest Wealth Management does not render or offer to render personalized investment or tax advice through the RINO Invest and Cash In with Cash In YouTube channels. The information provided is for informational purposes only, may not be suitable for all investors, and does not constitute financial, tax, investment, or legal advice. All investments involve a degree of risk, including the risk of loss.